everyone. Today's art journal prompt is leaves. I've decided I want to use some leaves from the garden. You can use a leaf stamp, you can use a leaf stencil, you can draw leaves. You know, interpret this any way you like. But you've probably gathered by now, I'm into nature at the moment and I'm just absolutely loving using and preserving things from my garden. So this time I want to do a page with some leaf rubbings. I'm going to be using some of the beryl oil pastels. I've got this set here that I think was Alex's when he was at school, and of course it's surplus to requirements now, and so I've pinched it. I'm going to be using these colours here. They're all broken and well used, but I've got a couple of shades of green, blues, a pink and a purple and a yellow. Now I am working on my usual size paper, but this is just thin copier paper, and I'm going to do this two ways. I want to try it on thin copier paper, and I also want to try it on some brown craft paper as well. This is from a pad of paper that I got from Tiger here in the UK. It's just cartridge, A4 brown cartridge paper. And so we'll see what happens. The reason I'm doing it twice is that I just want to see what it looks like on craft, but I'm afraid it's going to be too dark for what I've got in mind. I've actually got some kind of plan today. Now this is take two. I've just had to stop mid-flow because I'm recording on my iPhone today. I've got a new iPhone and I'm just hoping that by recording on my phone, it's going to give you better quality videos. So please let me know. Give me some feedback as to how it looks. I'm just hoping that I can actually figure out how to upload this and transfer it for editing to my iPad. We shall see. It's all going to be a learning curve. Let me just check that I'm in frame. So I'm just using my leaf bottom side up because that's where all the texture is, and I'm just going to keep moving it around my page. And I think to start off with, this probably isn't going to look very exciting, but I'm just hoping that we'll get some really interesting patterns going on here, and you know, we sort of might end up with quite a fun, funky page. I'm overlapping the colours as well. I just want to sort of really try and get some interesting colours and patterns going on here. I'm not pressing desperately hard, but hard enough just to get that texture showing through from my leaf underneath. We want some blues going on. In fact, actually, let's. I'm just going to keep working through my gorgeous colours here. going with this, going over and over all the layers until I'm happy with how that it looks, and I just love that. I just think that's so pretty, and I'm just going to repeat the process now on the craft paper in exactly the same way, and as soon as I've done that I shall be back. Now this is how the piece looks on craft cardstock. That's white paper, and as I suspected, it's a bit too dark, so I just want to see what happens if I go over it with a white wax crayon and see if I can get it to look nice. Don't like it as it is at the moment, so I'm just going to go over the whole of the page with white, and we'll see what it looks like then. Now this is how my page looks since I've gone over it with the white, and I really like that. And that's it next to the other one that I did. Now I was intrigued, I wanted to know what this would look like if I went over it with white, but I wasn't brave enough to do it. So I created another page, more or less the same, and went over that with the white, and so that is the difference. Now for what I have got in mind, which is some of these, I picked up some of these little embellishments, Halloween embellishments, autumnal embellishments from Lidl. I'm sure that for you guys in the US that they sell similar things in any of your craft stores over there, but these were just really cheap. They were about £1.39, I think they were, for a pack. I've also got some hedgehogs as well. I don't know what I've done with that. Oh, here we go. I've got a pack of the hedgehogs as well. That's what those are like. Let me just take them out of the cellophane packet. Oh, they've all got stuck. So, oh, little hedgehogs with some pumpkins, and I just thought those were really cute as well. But what I want to do is use one of these for my page, and I think I've decided, I've been trying these to see how they look, and I think the green leaf and the owl looks best. And I'm just going to keep it really simple this week. I'm just going to add my leaf. Let me just move this over here for you. I'm just going to add my leaf and my owl onto my page. Then I want some kind of border and some kind of quote. I just love that. I just think it looks really simple, really effective. But let me show you. That's the one on craft cardstock, and this is the other one, and I just think it stands out more on the craft paper. Now you can probably see that my pages are curling slightly, and that's because I've gone over all three of these pages with some clear gesso, just a very fine coat of clear gesso, because the oil pastels are quite mucky, and when you touch it you get sort of like a residue on your fingers. Now there's a couple of ways that you can seal this. I've used clear gesso. You could use watered down white gesso, but bear in mind that it's going to dull your colours slightly. You might like that look, it should give it a nice milky finish. Or you can use some kind of sealer, spray sealer like Krylon, or even hairspray as well. Hairspray won't seal it as well, but it will make a difference. You'll need several light coatings of really cheap hairspray, not your expensive stuff because it's full of too many additives, just the really cheap stuff. So what I want to do now, because this is so thin, I just want to mount this, glue this onto a piece of cardstock, and I've just got some recycled card here. I'm just going to use a Pritt stick. I'm going to cover the whole of the back in glue, stick this down and cut it out just so that I've got something more stable to work on, and as soon as I've done that I'll be back. Okay, so my piece is now glued down onto a piece of cardstock, so that's stabilised it, and by the time I've added my normal double-sided sticky tape, that will lie flat. Now I've been experimenting with different types of borders on the other sheet that I created. This was the one that I did on white cardstock where I went over it with the white, and I've been experimenting because I thought I might quite like to have a gold border, but I don't like any of them. This one here is done with embossing powder. This one is done with one of these gelato style kids crayons. I've got some of my gold enamel paint here as well, and I just don't like any of them. And this one was just using distress oxides in walnut stain. So what I've decided to do, so that turned out to be a really useful piece for me to experiment on. I'm going to opt for black, and I'm going to do my border before I start gluing everything down. I'm keeping this page really simple this week, and I'm just going to add a nice thick border in black. Oh yes, you see that's perfect. That was a good decision all the way around the edge, and as soon as I've done that, we'll start gluing things down. I've added my border and I like how that looks, and I've gone ahead as well and added my tape that I used to fix this into my journal just while everything is flat, because of course by the time I add my embellishments it's going to be a bit bulky. Now just one word about the clear gesso that I've used. This is absolutely perfect for me using in my art journal. I can touch the oil pastels and they're not coming off on my fingers anymore. It's lost that stickiness, but I don't know how permanent this is, and I wouldn't recommend it if you were doing a piece of artwork that you were going to sell. Absolutely perfect for in the art journal, but I can see here that it's starting to peel around the edge. I could go over that with another bit of clear gesso, but you know, it's absolutely fine for the purpose that I want it for. So I just wanted to say that I don't sort of want any of you doing sort of really good pieces of artwork and sending them out or selling them and then sort of blaming me saying, oh, the clear gesso didn't work. I've had a quick look online as well, and Sennelier do a specialist fixative in a bottle for oil pastels, but you know, I'm happy with this. It's just my art journal. I am just playing, and all I wanted to do was just take away that stickiness, so that's fine. Now I've decided that I want to use 2 of these leaves. I just felt that the one on its own just looked a little bit lost, and so I'm going to use the yellow one as well. I've taken the beads and charms and things off, and I've got my heat gun heating up to my right hand side, and I'm just going to glue those down like that, I think. So let's add some glue. I think the heat, the glue gun's probably going to be the best way of gluing this down, because of course it's felt and it's going to be quite porous, and if I use standard glue I think it would just fall straight through. So let's have a look. Let's put that down there like that, glue it down in place, hold it down for a second. Oh, don't want that, I've got some glue on my fingers obviously. And then I'm going to do the same with the yellow. I'm not adding a huge amount of glue here, just enough. Right, there we go, and let's glue this one down as well. That one about there. There we are. I had a couple of pieces of my owl as well falling apart. The eyes weren't secured very well, so I've added some glue to those as well just to hold it in place. I'll get rid of the strings a bit later, so let's add some glue to this. I might as well, in fact, let's take that off. It's got a self-adhesive sticky on the back already, so I've got the hanging hole on the owl, which you can see, but I'm not worried about that. This is just a bit of fun in my art journal, and I think I want my owl just there like that. Get rid of the strings. There we go. Doesn't that look cute? And then I've printed off my quote: in a world where you can be anything, be yourself. And so that's going to be my quote as well. So I'm going to glue that down with some glossy accents, I think, or I might use Pritt Stick. Now I decided to print my quote out on the craft cardstock. So I just took a sheet out of the pad and put it through my printer, and then I've just inked around the edges with the archival ink pad in the same way that I did with my border. And that's my page. I'm just going to leave it at that. I mean, it doesn't get much more simple than that, does it? So I'm going to glue it into my journal, and I'll come back and I'll show you at the end. And so here we are, here's this week's finished page. I'm really happy with this page. I just think it's adorably cute. It just looks so whimsical. What a simple page as well. I just think that background with the owl and the leaves just worked brilliantly together. Perfect colour combination. I ended up having to glue my quote down with some of the Dovecraft Ultimate Craft Glue, which is very, very strong, a bit like super glue, just because the glue stick just wasn't strong enough and just wouldn't hold it. It was just curling up. And so that is it for this week. So I look forward to seeing what everybody else decides to do for this week's prompt leaves. As I say, stencils, stamps, drawleys, anything you like. Sort of interpret this any way you like. I hope you like what I've done here, and as always, I'd really appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up if you did, because it just lets YouTube know that you like what I'm doing. And let me know what you think in the comments below. I always love to hear what you have to say. And take care, everyone. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.